Hello and welcome to episode 202 of the Imperial Truth podcast. I'm Greg. Joining me, as usual, is Mr. Howard. Hello, Howard.
Hello, Greg. Happy New Year and all that usual
Happy New
type of
Year.
stuff
Yeah.
that one has to do. But yeah, how are you doing? You all
A
right?
nice prompt episode to say Happy New Year on,
I think we're
as
okay.
you come to
I think
expect,
we're in that window still.
something like that. Yeah, I'm good, tired but good. You?
Yeah, similar. Survived.
Busy
What
Christmases.
has turned
Yeah.
into a much different focus of of the Christmas holiday, Christmas and New Year holiday break. It's a bit more of an endurance type challenge,
Yeah.
but a fun one and a rewarding one. So yeah, not
But
too bad. Made it through.
yeah, don't get to see half the films that I want to see like I did, previously. But hey, you didn't get to do much hobby, but that's the joys of little ones, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
it's about a very different kind of thing, and that's fine. But it's certainly more demanding than those periods were before. And as you say, hobby, no chance. That
no.
goes by the wayside. But you watch a lot of stuff. You watch a lot of you read a lot
Oh,
of
it's a
stuff
lot
about what's
of
happening, what
rubbish.
other people are doing with hobby.
James, yeah, well, yeah, true. James refused to watch any Christmas films until after Christmas. Like,
Okay.
we'd be like, "Watch a Christmas film?" Nope, except for The Grinch because he watches The Grinch whenever. But yeah, he's like, "Nope," and then all of a sudden he's like, "I want to watch that." What, that Christmas film on the 29th of December? Okay, the one we were trying to get you to watch. Okay,
Oh no,
bless his
we had
heart.
it the other way. We was all in on everything
Oh, was he?
Christmas. He was all in and in the build up to it, and was pretty crushed when Christmas was coming to an end.
Oh, don't.
When is Christmas again?
Yes,
Do we
yes.
have another Christmas? When is it soon? Can I have an advent calendar every day?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right, okay,
No,
yeah. These are
orcs.
questions I
Yeah.
hadn't anticipated of this.
It's like, sorry, dude, it's my birthday soon, and it's mummy's before that, and it's grandma's and nanny's before that. So no, you have to wait. Bless him. Anyway, yeah, it was good fun. I did buy some stuff in from Element Games actually
Oh, hello.
over there. So let's talk about Element Games, where you can get all your hobby needs, your brushes, your airbrushes, your paints, your
Paints. Certainly can get paints from them.
glues,
Mm.
yeah, your color forged sprays. Yeah, you name it pretty much. You can get it at Element Games. And if you want to support the show, you can use the link that is kind of in the show notes and on social media and on the link trees and on the website. And yeah, say the show gets a little bit of a kickback. If you do that and you want to tell us you've done that, feel free. You know, not many people use it. There's lots of people with Element links out there now, or other shops. We
Mm.
understand, but it does help keep the costs of the podcast from coming too deep out of my pocket. So it's all helpful and much appreciated. And they've been a really good supporter of us. I see they've got a war boot going on up at Element
Mm.
on the 11th at the Northwest Gaming Centre,
Mm.
which is fully, like, all the tables have gone. But it's free entry for anyone wishing to go and buy some second-hand minis.
Okay.
I am currently in the process of working out if I can do one of these down in Tunbridge Wells
Oh,
or
really?
maybe in East Sussex. Yeah, because the nearest one that I know of to us is Essex.
Yeah, I was going to say
Uh,
that's the one I can
at,
think of.
at them, at the true war boot, um, as, as they would like you to believe. But I'm looking at, I'm trying to sell loads of stuff. I know we've done it at our gaming club. We used to do it twice a year, one in the summer, one between Christmas and New Year, or just before Christmas, where we'd have a mini one at the club, and some stuff gets sold. But I'm just looking into whether it's worth hiring a hall and uh, and getting people to buy tables and maybe
Mm.
like a pound entry or something like that to come in.
Mm.
But if you're up north, you can go to Elements on the 11th, which is pretty cool.
They are. They're always
And
quite exciting, those. I mean, the bring and buys at various
yeah,
conventions used to be a real
yeah,
hotspot for stuff like that. We have what's it, Dragon Meet near us here. It's over in Hammersmith. That happened in December. It's not. It's more role playing game stuff, but it does have a bring and buy, and that's always been quite exciting. They were always the thing you kind of pounced on at conventions. I've never been to a war boot like you say, but obviously heard about heard about them and their and how famous they were for different reasons. And
Yeah,
yeah, never made it over to one of those, but it sounds like quite a good idea. It's cool that Element's got one. They've got a good venue for it though.
yeah. I think they run theirs pretty like straight up. People hire tables and
Right.
go for it, which is cool. I know in America some of the places will do it. Anything you buy is purchased as store credit, and they
Okay.
let people come in and like you don't have to buy your table that way,
Okay.
which is good because you're supporting your local store.
Mm,
The fact that Element are doing it a different way is, has its pluses and minuses. Obviously, Element aren't making as potentially as much, but people are getting to put the money in their pocket
mm.
rather than having to reinvest it. So that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, so it's weirdly, so thank you, Element, for supporting the show. But I'm looking at doing this, possibly doing this war boot. I've got a hall. It's working out whether it's worth the risk of hiring that hall for.
Mm,
I don't think. I think I only probably need 3.5, 4 hours maximum.
mm,
I think anything more than that might be OTT.
mm,
But obviously there's costs associated with that. But it's quite near the train station at Tunbridge Wells, so it's quite a
mm.
good link. Or there's actually a new game store opened near
Oh,
me.
really? Oh.
Yeah, so I've got the little one, Ashdown Gaming, up in Crowborough. Um, and it's quite a small store. They've got, but they're online. But they have got a couple of tables. It's out back. It's quite restricted. It's very much a shop that happens to have a couple of tables. But this new one, the Hobby Forge in Uckfield, is on an industrial estate and it has gaming tables and upstairs has lots of like card gaming tables as well.
Okay.
So I've got a new store which is on one of our suppliers that I collect from every now and then is literally I almost drive past it to get to that supplier,
Mm,
and I drive sometimes I'll probably drive past it a couple of times a week as well. So if I ever need to pop in, during the week, the opening hours are slightly easier for that as well. So I can just
mm.
go, oh yeah, cool. I need some black spray. I can do that while I'm at work and swing
That is
in
handy. Yeah.
and maybe go and hire a couple of, a 6x4 table on a weekend to play a game. So hoping they do well. It's a risky business opening a game store.
Yeah.
Especially in that way where you've got space which isn't stock, it costs that much more. So hopefully that's good news.
It's cool that they've opened up. That's nice. It's good to
Yeah,
see some of this. There's a few bits and there's a few places of sort of seeming to sort of get different games, well, sort of board game cafes and things like that, but places that seem to be popping up. There's a few popping up in and around London at the moment, but yeah, nothing quite new yet. Not since Element appeared. Anyway, they were the newest, I think. There's a few other little cafes, but they
still
seem to
haven't
go
got
from
there
strength
yet.
to strength there. Still not
I've got to
with your trips.
no.
I suppose not. Have you? Your trips are
I've
pretty
had
tight, aren't
cancelled
they?
trips and things. I've
Yeah.
got a hospital. I should be in hospital in a couple of weeks, so I'm thinking I might go up. I've got to stay over the night before because I'm going to be in Kings really early in the morning. So I might try and fit it in then and go and actually have a look around
Yeah.
because it's not worth the trip up for me. Like the
No, not for that alone. It's not. It's not when
the
you've been to an
money and the
Element before.
time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I do want to. I mean, weirdly, annoyingly, we went to see the Christmas lights, and the timings just didn't work out because we started. We got onto Oxford Street at pretty much at Tottenham Court Road, and
Oh,
it's like
so close. Forbidden Planet down through to the Element. Yeah.
couldn't I couldn't demand that we went
Not
there
with the
first.
family. Not with the
No.
family. That's no.
But hey, it's all good fun. Anyway, so limited hobby time. Um, I'm still working on my Blood Bowl team that I've been working on because I've had no time to sit and paint them. But I've got some 40k Space Wolves for Christmas. Start
Oh, that's
building.
cool.
Yeah,
Which did you get the characters or something, or what
I
did you get?
got the Combat Patrol, and then I purchased Logan as well. So I'm
Oh,
starting
classic. Yeah.
slowly. This is, I'm not going to play 40k till 11th comes out anyway because none of this is built yet. So going to build up the army slowly. So I've done Naffle. I have did finish Drop Site Massacre.
Yes, me too. Yes, I
Very.
did finish that. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I was listening to that on audio. I actually finished that a while ago, and I have started. And to my
Congratulations.
shame, I haven't picked it up enough, but I have picked up the Ashes of Imperium.
Same with
Been
me, and
working
I'm
through
going to
that.
restart it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Like because I only got a few chapters in, and I'm like, and then Christmas happened, and it was like,
yeah,
yeah, cool, no worries. Let's just go back to the start again, give it the time and effort it deserves.
yeah. I agree with that. It is. It's shining as Dropsite Massacre did. They're
Yeah,
standing out as really good.
I want
I
to.
don't want to rush them.
No, I want to go back and listen to Drop Site Massacre because I read it a bit in bits.
Right,
I'm listening to the Dresden Files. There's a new Dresden Files coming out like this month, and so I'm reading up until that point, and then I'll be ready to go when it drops. Finish that, and then I'm gonna do Drop Site Massacre again. It's
right.
a really interesting book, actually, the way he approached it. We are going to be talking to John. That is happening. So
Oh, cool.
next episode, we'll have an interview with John to talk about that. So if you've got any questions, how or comments, send them in. If anyone listening, actually, it's going to be tight because I'm recording soon. But if you're listening to this near release, you've got any questions or comments about Drop Site Massacre or for John French in general, let me know, and I'll see what I can do with those. So that's cool. But yeah, good book and
Really good. Mm.
really interesting way to go back and flesh out something in a way that wasn't dull. That wasn't like, oh, we've seen this before.
Oh, not at all. No,
Um,
I mean, with all the coverage of Dropsite, actually, it made me realise how little
oh
there
yeah.
had been really before, compared to how some of the things have been
Well,
explored.
yeah, we're not. This episode's going to be like one topic episode. We were going to do the new book, Legions Imperialis book, but we haven't had time with everything going on. And I did start it, and I was like, okay, oh cool. There's a map of the Urgal Depression in here.
Mm.
Actually, let me go and get my other journals and see, because there's a map in each of them
Mm.
of the Dropsite Massacre of various like showings, and they're all different,
Yeah,
and the
covering different
information is
parts of it, it
all
starts overlaying. Yeah,
different.
overlaying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
well,
love it.
two of them have the very same map, but yeah, all the details are different.
Mm.
Um, which I really like actually. I think
Yeah,
they're
I do.
doing, bearing in mind they're still setting things in this setting.
Mm.
They're doing that very well. But yeah, so that was my hobby. Not a lot. Although I got an Element size 3 brush, a Artis Opus size 3 brush,
Oh, very nice.
for a Christmas present because I do need some new brushes and I need to work out what value brushes I'm going to go for next time. Um,
I've started watching very recently. Actually, I needed to pick up and do quite a lot of airbrushing work recently.
mm,
And I started putting on because I use the Harder and Steenbeck brushes,
sure.
and I started watching some of their YouTube channel, Harder and Steenbeck's own, where they've been doing a lot of videos about how to improve your how to get started with them, explainers, explaining what your airbrush does, how you can
Okay.
use it. Incredibly useful, I think. There are quite a lot of these, but from the people who make the airbrush and who have obviously long running history with this. And interestingly, they are very aware that one of the biggest, well, clearly one of the contributing factors is people doing our hobby, particularly. They are frequently bringing out Games Workshop models and showing, "Oh, this is like
Right.
how to paint your first model." They know full well that that's it. It's not the automotive or the art world. I think they refer to that, but not. I think they know full well this. They pointed out on that because I'd been using various things to sort of keep them clean and do everything else. Something I learned the other day is relevant because you mentioned a brush. They recommended using a brush, specifically one of the dry brush style brushes, as a way of cleaning your airbrush,
Yeah.
which hadn't occurred to me. They really advised against anything even remotely abrasive, um,
Yes.
and including, not that it's abrasive, but the thing that he also didn't they suggested shying away from cotton buds. They're quite a common thing that people use, even the ones that are supposedly lint free. They can still drop things, whereas a brush, reasonable quality one at least, not a silly one, but whatever, is very good. And you can just put it on the front anytime you've got any paint accumulating on the needle or whatever. wet brush on the end, just wash it out. Even your actual paint dropper bottles, using it to clean those as well, actively clean things was remarkably interesting piece of advice, which I hadn't occurred to before. So yeah, I've been learning a lot about airbrushes and about how sort of really kind of up your game a little bit with some of those. Another good tip from them was use when you're experimenting using food coloring.
Okay.
Because food coloring is water. It's water soluble. I think that's the way it is. Yeah, so it's just incredibly forgiving when you're doing it. So just with a piece of paper,
Sure.
big sheet of paper, food coloring, you can just go for hours and you're not going to get any tip dry or anything like this. Yes, it ends up being more dilute, but it means you can really experiment with how to create lines, dots, detail, wider spray, get a feel for what pressure you're using, all the techniques that you need to do with all this. Yeah, so there's been a fair bit of YouTube where this is also at work when I've been doing something else and you want something running in the background, almost like a podcast. I've been listening to a few of those, but I've had a few little bits where I've been able to grab some time here and there, just not any long run on anything. I built a squad using the new Mark Twos. I built a Sons of a veteran tactical squad with Volkites
Right. Yeah.
for my Sons of Horus after my game last month with Grant. I need to I had some ideas last year of trying to do something in time for upcoming Beachhead at the beginning of February. That's clearly not going to happen. Was never really realistic. But what I might try and do is paint some new details and paint some new heads for some Titans to take along to that if I can. So that's a bit of a hobby objective, but I haven't been able to touch any of that since then. Printed some Mark Fives to try see if I can mix some of those in on my Sons of Horus. I've been redoing my paint storage. I'm looking at it right now. Tried to come up with some way. I had the various racks and things, and it just wasn't really working. It was kind of thinking, oh, if I want to try and expand this or trying to work it out, and it's all looking a bit messy and a bit packed, different brands and stuff. So I thought, screw this. Just what everyone says is go and learn from or go and borrow from the people who do that sort of thing very well, which is the nail bars,
Yeah.
which we have several on our local high street. And they were using either those acrylic shelves, which again, you get enough of them or whatever was problematic, and I wanted to put them on a shelving system, so it wasn't going to work. So I just went and bought bits of wood batten from Wix, ordered a big pack of.
Right.
I've got these, what are they, 1.8 meter long strips of wood that I've been screwing the shelving unit that sat beside me, and now have all that, including getting out some of the original hex pots. I got my Goblin Green up there and
Blimey.
bits and chestnut ink and all that kind of era of stuff. Entirely put out for display purposes only. So yeah, that's a part of that. Something I did pick up from Element was some of Vallejo's new true metallic metals, which have been proved to be
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very
They're an
handy.
interesting one. There's something I possibly want to look at actually.
They are cool.
Yeah.
They are particularly, I think anyone who's been any of the brands who have been looking at metallics know full well that there's a certain group who might be wanting to pick those up. So there's the Hydra turquoise. You're like, yeah, okay,
Sure. Yeah.
and Scarab red. You're like, yeah, okay, right. You know what you're doing with this. So having an alternative to the candy schemes, which there's plenty of guides and plenty of ways of doing that, but they are the Tamiya paints, which are the classic for doing that, rather than perhaps some of the contrasts and things, which are contrast style paints or the speed paints, those sorts of things over metallics. They don't have quite the same luster that you get with the depth that you can get with those Tamiyas. Problem is with those Tamiyas is they're solvent based, so they have a certain extra thing that you have to think about, a certain
Yeah.
extra process you have to think about. Whereas just a straight up coloured metallic gives you extra options, and the fact that those Vallejo ones work with this, which a lot of people are doing, but Vallejo's version of it is base, shade, and highlight. Yeah, BSL
Yeah.
light. Yeah, that's it. Be a base, shade, and light system is quite effective and gives you depth and shading and highlighting all within a system, which is quite good. So yeah, I'd heard good things. I've experimented, and I agree. good things, particularly the Hydra turquoise, or I think it is, and the colours either side of it on their chart as well. I think are very good. And Emperor's Children might be interested. Players might be interested in having a look at it. They've got a couple of very good metallic and pinky purples that would be worth exploring, as well as the what you'd expect with golds and aged golds and metals and coppers and silvers and stuff like that. So yeah, I would recommend that, of which Element stock that, as well as a couple of other places have started to get those in now. So that was
okay.
some of that stuff, and I painted up a Necron as well.
Yes, which we can't talk about yet. So.
Oh no, okay. I thought we would have. That would be
nope.
Out and about. Oh, I suppose it's a bit further away, isn't it?
It's going to be close. So let's move on.
All right.
As a little hint for people, but yeah, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, the speed paints is something I'm going to have to pick up the odd one and have a little look at. Metals is something that I want to find a way of doing better, easier and better. So
I'd recommend them. I think they've done a good thing with them,
cool.
and there are other brands. Dark Star is another good brand.
Yeah, they're getting out there a lot at the moment, aren't they? Dark Star.
Yeah, they are. They've been around for a long time. I bought them bought some
There's
of them.
There's a real push. Yeah,
about 10 years ago at Salute, I think.
I talked to Henry about Cult Paint, about the mini color things. I was like, "How's that going?" He's like, "Oh yeah, stressful. Like we were hoping to get them out early, but it looks like they're going to be out like at the time we said for the Kickstarter." I'm like, on time is early for a
Kickstarter like, particularly. Yeah,
if you can do that, and it was don't quote him like on that, but fingers crossed, because there's a couple of them I do want to get and think could potentially be my new like red or what have you.
Look at Byron put out an update about that to backers recently, and their work is clearly continuing. It's not a case of they're going to take that to the absolute wire, I think.
Cult of Paint have moved their show over to Twitch. They do still post some of it on YouTube. Yeah, but they were talking about that, and I think maybe the latest show. Oh blimey, it's gone. Andy. No, Andy. I couldn't remember his name. Andy literally pulled up like, I've got these 3 paints, and these are the ones I'm working on now. I'm going to be trying this one. So yeah, it's an ongoing thing, and I think it'll expand from there for Cult Paint as and when they have something they feel is suitable for their product, their brand. They're not going to compromise, which is absolutely fair. So it's exciting. Anyway.
Yeah, so that I think is all the hobby that's been happening. I think that covers everything. I'm sat in a incredibly messy environment at the moment, so there's a lot to sort out and try and get that done.
The one bit of the house that's not as clean as it should be when people come to come to look. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, right, let's pause that there. Let's come back and talk some news. Well, news. It's been fairly quiet for Heresy stuff. We have. What did we have? We had the Grotmas calendar. We got some paint guides.
The controversial Grotmas calendar, because that seemed to get a pretty negative reaction overall. I think people.
What, the paint guides or the Grotmas?
Grotmas in general. I just looking at the YouTube channels and commentators there. I didn't see so much outside of that Discord.
They were pretty open that there was going to be a lot of story. I think there was probably more story than people realised.
I think people had just built it a bit.
People's
expectations were too high, I thought, and they expressed their opinions on it. It's a shame it wasn't more Heresy specific. It was painting guides, which I don't hate.
But the only two things for Heresy are paint guides. Like, no matter what people believe, like, Age of Sigmar and 40k are the two big games. Heresy's in there somewhere. Like, it sells
And
well.
Heresies too. Yeah.
But we don't get a huge amount. It is what it is. It's not going to improve that much. I like they're downloadable. I think, for what it is, they're quite cool. If you're going to follow one of these,
Mm.
like to be able to download that and have it, looking good on your computer or wherever. I mean, if you're on your phone, you can just, hold down and download the picture anyway, can't you?
Yeah.
But cool, yeah. We're never going to get a huge amount of that kind of stuff, so it never
I think
really
they're
surprised me.
genuinely kind of genuinely interesting paint guides, and
Yeah,
I think they are accurate. Some of the paint guides in the past, I think, were
sure.
here's how we suggest you might get reasonably close to this scheme where we can't tell you that we didn't use Games Workshop paints anyway,
Yeah,
but we did. Sorry. And
yeah.
here's how you get as close as possible, but you'll never get quite the same effect unless you come and speak to us during a
And
an in-person
and
event or something.
and even now you can't do that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
unless you know
So
someone personally, yeah,
exactly, yeah, you couldn't even get close to that now. Whereas these, I understand, or overhearing people like Louis Thugden, who was speaking about this, they commented on this in one of their shows. That as far as they were aware, talking to people, these are the actual guides that
sure.
are used. And interestingly, they're more involved. They're not
Mm,
it on YouTube, get your guys on the table as fast as possible, battle ready or whatever it's called, a kind of thing. There's you know 1-to-1 blend of this for this stage of highlighting. You're like,
yeah,
okay, that's
and
that's
and
a
we
that's a
must
different scale of thing.
we must remember that there are new people coming all the time.
Yeah.
So rehashing this kind of thing is not as a negative as the
No, not
older,
at
more
all.
experienced gamers think it is. Like you've got to remember that people are coming new too, and it's good that they have these resources, and it's good for GW to remind people that they're there because you pretty soon lose track in all that GW do. It's easy not to know that they're
Entirely.
there because there's so much information coming out.
Yeah. I think they're a useful
So
thing to have, and the fact that different painting guides will have different approaches, different mixes and things, I think is an interesting thing to see.
sure, yeah,
Yeah. So I'm here for it. I thought that was fine. Yeah. Fighting,
indeed.
maybe not, but that's fine still.
Um, did you get a special edition of Era of Ruin?
Yes, I did.
You
Yes, I
did.
did. I
Was
think
it
about
was
it.
it really easy?
Yes, it was.
Oh wow, like
Who knew?
amazing.
Who knew?
Who
After
knew? Did
all of
you?
the shenanigans in the early round of that, and
So
then
have
turned out
you
to be
got
super easy for the second one.
have you got your copy, or is your copy still being
Oh,
made
being
and
made,
sent?
yeah. No, it hasn't been sent out. That's for sure.
Okay, are they
Uh,
all? Because they had some done and were doing a print, or were they all doing?
I
Were they all
thought
print
I
on
haven't
demand?
heard of anyone who's got it other than those who
Okay,
picked up copies. I think at a Warhammer Cafe, possibly in Tokyo,
sure.
that may have released some when they first came around. But I haven't seen any. It's not like they released the however many, the 2000 they had, as far as I'm aware. I would imagine they are going to release them all at the same time, which is in
I wouldn't bet on
180
that.
days. Yeah. Well, no,
No,
maybe
I
not.
wouldn't bet on that at all. I reckon they'll come and they'll go out in dribs and drabs
Oh,
because
okay.
it seems to
Right.
happen with that. I mean, less dribs and drabs than making models, but
Okay.
yeah,
I assumed it all went in one
I'm
batch, but
sure they must have some already, but who knows?
yeah, I'm sure they have. I just assumed they
Yeah,
were going to send it all in one go.
it will be sensible to get them all in and then send them out within like a week of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wouldn't bet against it. But it's good to see that they've done that, and that's got to be the way they're going to go forwards now. Um, yeah, for what it's worth, it creates less arguments, less issues. It's probably a good thing.
I don't think I spoke about. Did we talk about Ashes of Imperium and ordering that last time?
No.
No, that's been was since. I missed out on that.
Oh, was that old school?
That
Was
was the
that?
old school. That was the old
Yeah.
school method. Because that happened before they announced how they were doing
I
Era of Ruin,
suppose there
and
might be. Yeah.
that was a really annoying one where basically the website broke.
Right.
For me anyway. I think it was something to do with capture. because
Sure.
I something caused that. Anyway, whatever. I couldn't get through payment. I would get it into the cart, you'd go
Right. Yeah.
payment, and the website would hang. And it hung around for a reasonable amount of time. It was there for sort of half an hour, which by
Sure.
the standards of that is a lifetime. And then
Yes.
it went out of stock, and I was livid. There was a copy in the basket, but I tried
That's such
multiple
a
browsers, I tried multiple PCs, I tried everything. It wasn't until I spoke to customer services on the following Monday, and they were like, "Oh, we'll try this. We'll basically just reset your account, kind of thing, reset or clear something here.
yeah.
Nothing I could do at my end." And sure enough, that fixed it. And you're like, "Well,
Great.
because of the way the website was,
Yeah.
there was no physical way I could buy this, which was frustrating. I've heard about other people do it, and I've sort of gone, "Oh, I'm sure it can't be that bad." Well, there you go. That's karma coming back around because I missed out on that. Very fortunately, my good friend of the show, Dan, was able to heard I was having difficulty and picked up a second copy. I'm always super nervous when that happens because I'm always nervous that they clamp down
Never
on their.
had. I've
No,
never had, and I've done it for multiple people on bids before.
I've
And
never
I've
had it
got 4
cancelled.
copies of
Yeah,
a book, and I've never had one cancelled.
no.
So whether they're looking at the people who are ordering them that have done that, because I've only heard of a few times that's happened.
This
But
is it. As you say, I've never spoken to someone who's had that actually happen.
no,
But
no,
it's always a friend of a friend, or
yeah,
it's always once removed or more that have heard that happened. However, the fear of that happening was
yeah.
still
Oh,
slightly
for
real.
sure, for
But it
sure.
didn't. So fortunately, got that. Fortunately, but it's a slightly bittersweet thing because you sort of think that's another series now, and now I've started doing that, and I said I wouldn't do that again. Balls.
But I mean, moving forwards, do you think they're going to move it over, or do you think they're only going to do that for the ones they know are going to create enough of a demand?
Oh, I think they'll do that for all the Scouring era books. I
Yeah,
would
well, we'll
imagine.
see with the next one, I suppose,
Yeah.
whenever that
The
comes
question
out.
is how many books is that going to go for? I
Yeah,
don't see that being a huge. I don't see that being a. You know, I don't. Well, I've got no idea actually. I wouldn't even like to. I'm struggling to speculate on that, but I don't. I
sure.
don't see that being. You know, tens. I can't imagine that being. I don't know, 20, 30, 40 book series. I'm assuming that's going to be
Well,
slightly more controlled, but who knows?
yeah, so actually, hold on. With and that Ashes of the Imperium, where is it? I thought I had it up here. Um, it hasn't got a number or anything like that, hasn't.
No.
No. So if it becomes a setting, you could get 20, 30 books.
You think it could go as big as that?
Well, why not?
Why not?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying it will. Right, this is not me with any foreknowledge or anything like that. But if they can keep thinking of stories within the scouring setting, why not
I suppose
write them
that's the
and put
key,
them
isn't it?
out? Like,
Can can you think of engaging stories?
yeah, can we think of an engaging story in the heresy? We can think of loads that haven't been written, right?
Mm,
And it's a
mm,
58 plus book series,
yeah.
59 now, right? Right, the series is 58, but there's 59 books plus short stories and plus unnumbered books,
Mm,
right, in the heresy setting. And yeah, the heresy is massive compared to the scouring, um, but the scouring could. I mean, when does the scouring end?
yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
Like, does the scouring have to be limited to the Imperium?
Mm,
Like as a sole driver, probably like 90% of it will be, I'm sure. But are we going to have Chaos Forces trying to make their own way within whatever that or traitor forces? Um, like if they're going to keep coming up with if they've got good stories to write and they think they'll sell books, why not keep it going as a setting?
mm.
You
It's
know,
making me nervous now. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh dear, I
But
committed
I
to.
don't think they're going to be. You're not going to be getting like 3 books a year.
No,
That's the
no.
difference. I think you're going to be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
cool. You can do a book a year, like
Mm, mm,
maybe one year with two, right, and maybe
yeah.
one year with none. Like
Hmm.
that's not going to be scary. It's not like Age of Sigmar where they're going to be pumping books out, or
Yeah.
not, 40k where they're pumping books out, and Age of Sigmar where you get a few. Although the Talia Vedra novel, I'm very tempted by.
Mm.
But yeah, interesting, cool. So yeah, Ashes, and the scouring. That's going to be interesting stuff.
That's a whole thing.
Awesome.
Yeah. What other news was there? There
What's
was
next? The miniature. Let's. Oh, I tell you what, they didn't do this year. They didn't do Warhammer Hero. I've only just realised.
what in all of 2025.
No, well, they did the winners, but they normally put up the votes for Warhammer Hero in December.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah,
Right, no, I've
last
missed
year
that.
they did over Christmas.
Right.
That's interesting because they did have, they had a good number of Warhammer Heroes last year.
Hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, that's just come to mind. They did do their miniature of the year.
Yes.
Some interesting stuff there. I mean, these are public votes, so they mean very little. I I was a bit surprised with the Urkan the Dark Warden for Age of Sigmar, just the Chaos Warrior with his
Hmm.
holding his sword on the tip of the ground. That was a bit of a strange one, but having the rest all put into one always meant something like Miao Yang, the Storm Dragon, was always going to win. It's a big model. Almost all of them are big models, and Logan. When I actually voted for Logan in 40k, but I suspect Fulgrim pushed him close. But we did get Saturnine Praetor as number 2, the Saturnine Dreadnought as number 4, the Siege Dreadnought as number 7. So you think, combined the Saturnine Dreadnought,
Well,
GW
the
don't,
two different configurations. Yeah, I thought that was a strange
yeah,
one.
to put them together,
Yeah.
yeah. And then like third was Warhammer Quest Dark Water, which is a whole game box. Like GW don't really. It's a throwaway little thing. This.
Yeah.
The Thanatar Calyx Siege Automata being 8, and the Caster of Runes being 10. Which Caster of Runes is a cracking model. There's some representation there from Heresy when you're bearing in mind that they say the two Saturnines, you can only vote for one, and each Dreadnought one. There's got to be a serious number of Heresy players voting in these other game systems to be, because if you're, the Saturnine Dreadnought looks fine next to the Sky Lantern. If you're an old world player, the chances of you voting for a Saturnine Dreadnought over the Dragon or the Lantern is going to be slim.
Yeah.
So I think that shows like the health of the game.
I was really surprised to see, particularly the Saturnine Praetor,
So was I.
up there and in second of all places. Yeah, I was really surprised at
I
that.
mean, the one thing with Saturnine, with both the Dreadnought and they do that thing where they polarize opinion. Like, there's very few people who are like, meh, take it or leave it. There's a lot of people who don't like it, and there's a lot of people who really like it, and that's perfect. Like, that's the way you want things to be. You'd rather that, as say, than it's fine. I mean, I don't blame that dragon for winning. I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well,
Personally,
everything they did in the Cathay range, I thought was
so
which the dragon was pretty, one of the
it was up
centerpiece
there,
models,
wasn't
wasn't it? Yeah.
really up there. Yeah, cool. So that's a nice little throwaway. They also did the Black Library Book of the Year, which again, what value you place on this? Drop Site Massacre number 1.
Oh, it was
Probably,
cool. I was chuffed for John on that. I thought that was good.
absolutely. I, recency bias, maybe.
Maybe.
I haven't read a lot of these other books, so I can't comment too much. But you're talking Ashes of the Imperium and Era of Ruin all being in there. And like Interceptor City, if you'd put me down beforehand, I'd have suspected that would have been in the top 1 or 2. I'd probably put a pound on it. But Mike Brooks,
I really want to read. That's probably on my list to read after Ashes. Actually, is Void's Guard and Archmagos actually has come up.
Yeah,
on my list. I'd like to read both of those.
I've read 2 Mike Brooks books, the Alpha Legion one and the Rogue Trader one. Is it the Rogue Trader?
Oh yeah. He did. Yeah,
Yeah. And I have things about them, but they were certainly fun. But he, again, I think is someone who divides opinion. So the people who like him really like him, and the people who don't, less so. I suspect for some of those people, there's an element of politics in that.
Yeah, I'm aware of people who have
Mike
opinions on.
Brooks is someone who's like unashamed to be a supporter of different people and diversity.
Yeah.
And some of that might appear in his books. I don't think that's a bad thing, but he's getting a lot of. I'm hearing Mike Brooks's name quite a decent amount at the moment,
Mm.
which is
Which Alpha
interesting.
Legion?
Cool.
Was that Harrowmaster that you read of his?
No, he did. He did the Alfaris book.
Yes, he did. That was good. Yes,
Yeah,
well said. He's done a Huron Blackheart
has he?
book
I was going to mention
as well,
Huron in this actually.
Master of the Maelstrom. So I'm
Maelstrom, yeah,
guessing that's going to become something that
very
that's going to
popular.
come round again. Yeah,
We should mention Huron.
yeah.
I thought we were going to get a plastic Primarch over Christmas. I must admit.
Really?
It's been a while, like revealed as the Christmas reveal. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a Primarch,
Mm.
and I think they're going plastic. So I thought we might get a teaser for that, like an Angron or what have you.
I could
But
see that. I could see a teaser be coming out as part of a New Year thing. That could have been a thing, but yeah, a whole reveal like that. They're
oh, why
enjoying their
not?
teasers
Christmas
at the
Day
moment.
they've done some decent reveals. Like the teaser or whatever. I thought it was going to be a
Yeah, okay,
Primarch.
fair enough.
To have it as Huron, it's not far off a Primarch in terms of lore. The whole like kind of reliving the Badab war has excited a lot of older gamers, a lot of heresy gamers.
Yes.
And he does look super cool. And what's interesting is those who have the black Badab books are now maybe thinking of revitalizing the Badab campaign in a
Mm,
more with brand new awesome models,
mm,
which I don't think is a bad idea. That whole crew is looking amazing.
yeah. Yeah,
Interesting to
that's
see.
going to be very cool. I mean, I've seen a lot of heresy players get
Yeah.
interested in the apothecary, the chief
Yes.
apothecary. I'm
Yeah.
saying this is a great word bearer model. I've seen Photoshop jobs of him as a Night Lord, as a oh, I wish I could credit the person. I'll see if I can find it. He's done fabulous ones. Night Lord as a Thousand Sun, even an Iron Warrior, and you're like, yeah, okay, this model's got some legs. It's going to be a good base for a whole bunch of things.
Well, that and the 500 worlds
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
models. The what's their name? You got the Astropath. You've got the
Wardens of Ultramar.
plenipotentiary Lucia Vesta, and then I think Gaius Silva is like, yep, he's not in void suited armor, but hey, you know what? Sometimes Solar Auxilia don't have to wear full
Mm,
void suited armor. Like they can be on planets where they know they don't have to, and they can just look good. Like he's going to be really good, as is Emiliana Minervus. Like I can see a couple of them appearing in Heresy armies
yeah,
soon because they are amazing.
yeah,
I'm not bothered about the Space Marines that much. Cool, whatever. Like Titus, cool, but the rest of the crew look.
yeah.
The humans look awesome.
Particularly, I mean, just obviously, Calth Auxilia entirely be a thing, or Calth, the Ultramarine Defense Auxilia and stuff. That, yeah, I could see that being a whole theme around those.
So cool. So really good. Yes. Yeah. So all that really cool. And then the Warhammer preview. We've got another preview coming on the 16th. They're like New Year preview. 3 weeks in.
Yes, of which
2 weeks.
Heresy is featured, and
Featured.
more significantly than that, because I thought, okay, I mean, there were leaks that happened over the Christmas break, revealing a little bit of what's coming for 40k, specifically some of those things that are going to come with Huron around the same time as that, and so you think,
Yeah, the
okay,
books.
that's
Yeah.
stolen the thunder a little bit of what's going to be in that preview in all likelihood. However, there was a Heresy is going to be included in that preview. I was like, okay, cool. Are we going to see more expanding on what some of the things we've already seen in previous previews? But they did a teaser. They did a little sort of an announcement.
Teaser's quite nice actually.
I thought
I
that. They
like the
did a
little
little
video.
video, didn't they? And they said,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder if anything in that video was a hint. And of course, they got people, it was a New Year's party. They got people walking around like they're serving and things. And one of those things that went past was a bunch of bananas sprayed gold with red plumes out of them.
Which I kind of hate
Yeah, I know what you
because
mean.
I
Yeah.
hate them being called garden bananas. but it's a meme. They're going into it. So we've got Eddie with the bones. That's Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Surely you've got the custodians, and we kind of know custodians are coming.
We do, but I was still sort of like, oh, that's cool. That's a bit more significant than I was expecting, rather than
Yes, I mean we
it's
don't know
Tartarus
what's
Terminators or
coming.
something or
We,
whatever.
we don't we
never
don't know
did
what
know.
we're going to see. It could be one character. I suspect not, because there's
Mm.
only 4 things being shown off. So again, it feels like they're not trying to pack it with loads of stuff. Hopefully, we'll get a smaller preview that is impactful.
Yeah.
I mean, Blood Bowl is only ever going to be so much, right? You've got, the Blood Bowl is being held by a woman with pointy ears. Oh, we're going to get the High Elf team that is due to come. Probably. I'd put money on it. And then the pirate, the Eldar Corsairs, which have been, leaked and look awesome. Nice, simple. Four different things.
Their previews also recently, they haven't come in for much criticism. Usually quite the opposite. People have normally been quite praising of their
No,
previews.
because the criticism comes when they say what's going to be in it.
Mm.
Oh, no Middle Earth again. Fine, cool, get it. That's your disappointment.
There was a period about a year ago, I think, or Christ knows when it was. There was a period where the preview would happen. People knew the topics that were going to happen, the systems that were going to be explained, and people would be like, "Oh, well, that's disappointing. Oh, that's all we're showing, is it? Oh, did that need?" And then that flipped, and it was around the time I think the Krieg were released. That was a big that preview, and then I think the same one when they did the Eldar for 40k. Those previews, people kind of lost their mind for, and it completely reinvigorated it. People were like, "Oh my god, these previews are amazing! They're packing them with stuff."
Yeah.
Since then, and that's been quite a while now, those previews have been quite good. So yeah, as you say, maybe there's just 4
Well, it went
systems.
quiet for a while, didn't it?
It
As
did,
well.
yeah.
And then they came back and they maintained that. They brought out that preview we didn't expect, kind of thing.
Mm.
But it was, what did they show off? I can't even remember. But it was, so Space Wars they did at Adepticon. What was they do after that? I cannot remember. But it was a chunk. It was a It wasn't like, here's a model.
No, yeah.
So I preferred, and we've said this before, and I remember last year, in November last year, just stop giving us like naff previews, like every 3 weeks, and they've stopped doing it. So yeah, Blood Bowl's not going to show off a huge. Maybe they will. Maybe it'll be High Elves and it'll be Sevens or something like that. Cool. Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Who knows what we're going to get with that? We don't. If I wouldn't be surprised if we get shown the next box of custodians and a few other bits, like we did with what did they do for Heresy? They showed us the Breachers, they showed us the Terminators, and they showed us some other bits, didn't they?
Yeah, it was basically
And they revealed the
that
box
box
as
was
well.
coming. Yeah, the fact that box was coming, what was in it,
and a
and did
couple
they
of other
tease the
bits.
Scutari at that point?
Yes, they did. They showed us Skitari
Scutari
and
the
the
book
long leg
journal.
guys we haven't got yet.
No, which I
So
thought we were just going to see more of what was coming with that in this, but so the fact that this has got a different focus, oh, okay, cool.
no, it's good. So 16th at 7:30 p.m., which is great actually. I'm going to be is that a Thursday? As a Thursday or a
Friday.
Friday?
Yeah,
Friday. Perfect, because I think we're going to be. I think we were away at a cottage about 4 miles from where we live, but it will be quite a chilled out one, and I'll be able to go. I want to watch this.
Yeah, I'm
So,
just going to be on my phone now. See you in a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to read books. We're going to have a proper quiet one. So yeah, I like not a lot, but it seems like GW. Other things they're doing, they're still the classic GW. It seems like this is a little bit more organised, a bit more solid. It seems we're getting less frivolous stuff that matters. You know what I mean? Like, when they do something that matters, it seems to be done a little bit better than beforehand. So you're not left kind of wondering.
No.
But anyway, let's move on from all that, unless you can think of anything else that happened in the world.
No, not really.
Warhammers.
With all those things, I was just trying to think if there was any other
We're
Imperialis
not
stuff.
far off
Really?
a whole year since Angron was shown off.
Wow.
We
When you
just,
put it like that. Yeah.
because there's no LVO this year in January. That's
No,
moved to the
that's
summer
shifted now,
now.
isn't it? Yeah.
So we're not expecting another preview for that. So it's like Adepticon will be the next like event they have if they do one at Adepticon. I haven't actually
Which,
looked at the Adepticon
in
schedule, to be
all
honest.
likelihood, given the timings of that, that's likely to be 40k focused, I would assume.
Oh well, yeah. Obviously the next big preview. Although they did their own one for Heresy, we might just get a 40k reveal kind of thing. I wonder if the Adepticon event preview. Oh no, without looking into it, I won't be able to see because I'm not going. So I haven't looked at the archive. I haven't looked at the list. Someone can tell us. Someone tell us on the Facebook if there's an Adepticon GW preview show, because obviously there wasn't at whichever one it was, Nova or whatever it was. So all good fun. Right, let's leave that there. Let's come and have a little look back at 2025 and a little look forwards at 2026, even though we're already in the future. Righty ho. So we're going to look back at 2025. I'm going to delete the tab for 2024.
Any mistakes like that?
After
That would
we
be
do this,
stupid.
that would be idiotic
You just be
to
talking about the wrong
record
year.
20
What
minutes about the wrong year and
what
not
a
realise it and
knob.
wonder why that the a whole book release wasn't included. So yeah, ignore that. Moving swiftly on. We're going to look back at the year. We're not going to go deep, but we're going to have a little. I think sometimes it's good to reflect on what
Reflection.
we've
There you
actually
go.
had
Yeah.
this
Well
year.
said.
This isn't maybe as like detailed as previous times, but we'll pick out some nice bits we like, things like that. We'll go through. Well done, Howard. Okay, so let's look back at January. We had some legions, Imperialis, battle automata, mechanicum infantry, and
But that was
Trios.
because they'd released previously the Mechanicum Battle Group, which had sort of been
Yeah,
the full set of releases, and then they broke it down into that. But I mean, 24 had been pretty Legions heavy,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
it was just sort of following on from that, wasn't it? It was just the tail end at that point. You were seeing that breakdown, but yeah, cool to have those individually.
Yeah, and then into Heresy, the Derrideo being broken up,
Yeah.
the Arvus Lighter, which was a bit of a surprise.
Yes, because that was
And
quite
the
soon after they'd done the
yeah,
resin version, relatively.
as well,
Um,
and the fact that they've done, yeah, it was a strange release,
mm,
but hey, we got
but
it,
popular.
and yeah, and then the Valdor Tank Destroyer and the Malcador Infernus, like cool, like the weird thing we've had, and we've talked about this a number of times, the plastification of third edition, Heresy second edition, and into third edition has meant we've got stuff we know we should get. So it's a
Mm.
little bit of a weird one.
Yeah, you're like, I've
And
seen this before. It's nothing new. However, I'm
this,
still kind of pleased it's here.
yeah, but it doesn't look exciting.
No.
So when you look back and you think, yeah, what did we get this year? Oh yeah, we got all those really expensive kits redone in plastic to become considerably cheaper and easier to work with and lighter. That was a good thing.
Mm.
Less of a good thing for the people who own 8 of them already and don't want to buy new ones. Brilliant for the people who want to get into the game or wanted to start a new army and didn't have the cash or
Mm.
didn't have the models available, have been waiting for resin models to be available. So, yeah, done a pretty good job on that, which carried on into February with the Mechanicum Heavy Support Force, Arquita, but then we got some resin then. Arquita, Magisterium, Secretary X Arch, Iron Hands Praetor, Iron Warriors Warsmith, the Caster of Runes, we talked about that earlier. Great model. The
It's a great
Heralds.
model, and it's interesting, but I'm still surprised it appeared over things like some of the others on this list. I mean, the Iron Warriors Warsmith I would have thought would have been more popular than the Caster of Moons. I'm
Well,
surprised that featured so heavily.
Yeah, let me have a little look. I'm just having a little comparing the models actually. Iron Warriors Warsmith. Yeah, I mean, the Iron Warriors Warsmith is slightly more like standard than
Yeah.
the Space Caster Runes.
Iron Warriors consistently end up being very like they're one of the more popular legions though.
But I
I
yeah,
suppose so
do
are Space Wolves, but yeah.
you to make an Iron Warriors character is a lot easier from a standard kit
Yeah.
than
Yes.
than
That's
your Space
unarguable.
Wolves, than your potentially your
Mm.
Blood Angels. You know, some of the other Space Wolves, particularly a little bit more out there in terms of needing those extra bits. So I think that plays into it.
Yeah, maybe.
The Overseers, the one with the whip, he was there. Like, blimey, haven't even thought about that model in a long time. So yeah, Traitor Overseer, he's still there. Yeah, those kits, that's 29.50, that kit. The
Ooh.
caster runes
Yeah.
and that like it's a chunk of money. The named characters 39 quid, something like that for some of those.
Eesh. Right.
Quite a lot. And on the 14th we got an Angron and Latara article. Angron.
On the
So
14th, oh, because it was a
that was the
Valentine's Day thing,
article.
wasn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we had the reveal in January and the article then, and not a word was said about him since. But we moved into March. The Karaknos assault tank, the Krios battle tank, Thanatar Calyx, and the Ursurax cohort. Again, like March doesn't sound exciting, but if you want to collect Mechanicum,
It really
boy,
is.
does that make it cheaper and easier.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
so much. But what
There's a
March
funny
also
thing. I mean, touches on the whole plastification thing because I saw some people over.
classification. I think that's just a great term we're using there.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I saw someone comment on it about I think if someone putting together uh, a late era resin Spartan over the
Mm.
Christmas break, and they were like,
When you said
"Oh,
late
thank
era, I was thinking Siege of Terror.
yeah,
I
yeah."
now realise you
You
mean
realise what
like
I'm talking
second
about? Yeah.
generation.
Yes, that's a better. That would have been a
Yeah.
better way of putting it. A
No, it's
version
great.
two,
It's fine.
version
Yeah.
two Spartan. Um, the late era feels very military modeler, doesn't it? Um,
Yes.
there was someone saying that, oh, how great it is to put together something where every like track is not 1,000 pieces. They're like long live resin or something like that. And it was, I thought, well, yeah, I kind of get that, and particularly Mechanicum. I understand.
Oh.
I've not put together a Thanatar, but I've
Mm.
heard that it's a daunting kind of modelling exercise because of the number of pieces, and you could argue that's also arguably true of some of the Legions releases where you've got 3, 4, 5 pieces for the lower part of
Well,
a leg.
12 pieces for a rhino,
There you
or
go. Yeah,
whatever it is, 11.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some of the robots are particularly vulnerable
Mm.
to that criticism. On the other hand, it's plastic. It's just yeah,
It's
there's more bits,
plastic,
but it's a lot easier to just work with and just get on and
but the
work with.
and the pieces are straight.
Yeah, quite. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I know
you
you don't
don't
have a
need a
mold
heat
line.
gun.
I don't have a mold slip over a bulkite or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
exactly. I've been like, I'm not anti-resin, but I was like, I'm over dealing with resin a
Particularly
long
for
time
certain
ago.
kits, particularly for things like tanks and stuff like that,
I
bigger
yeah,
stuff. I would rather have the more pieces personally and be working in plastic.
absolutely.
I I picked up a Karachnos and a Thanatar actually for that was a Christmas present over the break, and just because the more I was thinking about it, the more having played a game and things, I was like, these are cool. I've
Yeah,
kind of wanted these. I wouldn't have picked those up in resin. No
no.
chance.
Well, I pick up some of my boxes I've got in my garage to move them around, and it's like, oh, that's a heresy box
Mm.
because I've got a Spartan and a Typhon and whatever other tanks in there that are resin, and you
Mm.
feel it. Like, you really feel it. So yeah, March we also had Adepticon, and
Mm.
I
Mm.
pretty much put my pound on having the reveal for new edition of
Yeah,
Heresy
I
because
was certain
all the
that was going to
rumors were
happen.
out there. We didn't get it. We didn't get it.
No.
We got some awesome Space Wolves. We got some Cathay, but we did not get any Heresy, and it was like, huh, that's strange because pretty like odds on that something was coming. But hey, eat humble pie. I didn't get that right. So we push into April, and we get 40k Fulgrim for those who don't want to carry their. I'm going to say it better 30k Fulgrim around, but slightly more prone to being
Connoisseur's
damaged.
choice.
Yeah.
Connoisseur's choice, but needs to stay at home.
Yeah. So you're playing Peace Fulgrim and you're perfect Fulgrim, which great, awesome. Have that, and then we got the Kraknos Assault Tank, Krios Squadron, Acastus, Knight Asteros, Agpos,
Great
Knights
release.
Megara,
Those three Knight releases were tasty.
Oh,
I have those
mate.
in plastic.
I've got a load of little resin Knights. I've got a load of resin flipping. What are the smaller Knights called? The
Armicas.
Yeah, specifically the
Mechanicum
Moirax.
one. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like they're expensive for what they are. They really are. And then we should maybe sound the last rites because we got Astacrone and Caelus Nex in resin.
Yeah.
And we have not seen resin since I think Caelus Nex is 39 quid. Right, I'm not saying the plastic one's cheap. £39.50. Caelus Nex, lovely model. Astacron, lovely model. 40 quid.
I have seen Astacrone increasingly frequently being used as the base for a Ralderon conversion.
Right, okay.
Which is fascinating.
Interesting.
People are using it that way.
Isn't it just? Yeah, it's a curious one. What gets used for what? But yeah, when we look at the fact that we've had those models are that price in resin. Hey, that's the other reason why I prefer plastic. Right? Yeah. So interesting. April was the last time we saw a resin release. We also got an announcement of a preview show happening in May. And May, all we got was a preview show, but we got a whole preview show for Heresy, which obviously showed off some Saturnine. Interesting way of going about things, having it.
Oh, because it leaked, didn't it? It leaked. Didn't it?
Yes.
It leaked in via production or sort of logistical issues.
The book came out, didn't it, in a warehousing issue in America?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that now. Yeah, I forgot that happened.
Yeah, there was a whole thing where it wasn't a play tester or something like that, or or any one of those sort of things. It was it was it was through a perhaps slightly more nefarious means of something happening with the warehouse. Yeah,
and someone knowing they had enough to make a quick buck off without necessarily knowing what they had fully. So yeah, much excitement.
Yes, the hype train was real at that point.
Yeah. Weirdly, in June, before the book came out, we got Tarantula sentry guns, missile batteries, rapier quads, laser destroyers, and heavy destroyers in plastic.
I remember us being surprised about that at the time.
It was a real kind of what? I wonder if they had
all
got
the things
delayed
to release. Like, are you sure?
Yeah. I can only imagine they got like pushed back in the schedule or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, let's throw them out.
In particular, not the rapiers, the tarantula sentry guns in particular did go particularly well with the Arachne platform that was in Saturnine. I think that's a coincidence rather than a.
Do you,
or
do you think? Do you think the release?
I think the closeness of the release is a coincidence, not the design.
Sure.
The design was obviously a reference.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was just a cock up in the manufacturing or something like that, and the times got all skewed, and they were like, "Oh, stuff it, let's just throw them
Bring
out."
that together at this point.
Where's the gap that we can do it? They're only going to be available here. Let's go. Let's throw it out. But who knows? We also got Era of Ruin up for sale.
That went well.
Yeah, absolutely. Break the website. It's all good fun.
But good came out of that because look how that transpired.
The communication was awful. When did you finally know what was happening with Era of Ruin?
Fair
Like
point.
six,
It was 6 months to
months
the
later.
day, virtually.
Was it
It was. It
amazing?
was weirdly like to the day. It
You
was.
know,
It was something
GW.
like that.
It was like, don't worry, we're working on it. 6 months later. Oh, by the way,
We
we
worked on
worked
it.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not brilliant. But hey, July came. Saturnine box, the rule books, the Liber Army books.
The first of a
You know,
Journal Tactica.
the first of General Tactica straight away is from 5. Mark II Tactical Squad to go with it, and the maps. Vengeful Spirit map was pretty cool.
That
The
was cool.
Carter
Yeah.
Galactica is pretty cool. To get the other Liber books was quite good. Excuse me, we're recording late. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I thought it was a good release. I thought
I
they
thought
did
that too.
well.
As a launch, I thought it was good. To have the 5 books ready to go on release. I felt for Custodes players. Some of the
Yeah,
other things that came in PDFs later, like
I
they're a
mean,
bit more
yeah, it
niche.
got worse for some of the other players,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sisters
Um,
players.
but the yes, fair point. But um the the core factions, he says, with it in
Mm.
inverted commas, I thought were well covered. I didn't necessarily think they were going to release all of that in one go, and they
Yeah, the
did.
mortal stuff being
Yeah.
like, was good and a little bit of a surprise. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then they followed up it in August really quickly with the Praetor, the Centurion with Palmore, the Terminator Squad, the Siege Dreadnoughts, the weapon set, the Veteran Squad, Disintegrator, the Arachne, the Drop Pod. Remember, we 40k got a new
Oh
Drop
yeah.
Pod,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we got our old
We got the
Drop
old one.
Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Marcus die sets like that all came hot on the heels. So if you didn't get your box, but you wanted something specific, or you weren't prepared to drop it, the money on the box, but you wanted one or two things, you didn't have to wait 3 months like you used to. You could jump on it there and then. Reduces that secondary market, so it's sensible from GW. But yeah,
I
pretty
do think
cool.
it's quite good. It's minor, but it's just quite good that they release things like. I mean, they had the other configuration, the other weapons for the Siege Dreadnought, the Saturnine Dreadnought.
Yeah,
That was cool that they do that. They've set the precedent for a long time of these kits where you've got one weapon set in one box, one weapon set in another
yeah,
box. Predators, all the Dreadnought variants, loads of things have done that for some time. The fact that with the Dreadnoughts they continue to then sell the other weapons as a separate kit that you can, I think it's direct only, but still, I'm quite pleased they do that. I could
yes.
entirely see a world where they just don't bother with that and they just have the
I
two SKUs of the 2 Dreadnought boxes. I'm pleased they've continued that the weapons
I
exist.
I wouldn't be surprised if community volume uh, has resulted in that, like community like noise
Mm,
has resulted in that carrying on from when they did it with the Titans. And they've kind of realized, oh, hold on, like let's keep them happy on this thing.
mhm,
I suspect so. My thought process is they break the dreadnoughts up so they don't have the extra sprue, so the price doesn't balloon again,
mm,
right? Because if you're not worried, if you're going to glue your arms on your models, then you're not worried about having all the options because you can buy which option you need,
mm,
and that way you keep the price down by 10 quid or whatever it is, so it
mm,
becomes a more palatable purchase. People who are going to be a bit more savvy, you do the swaps, you buy 2 and do swaps, or whatever you need to do to make it work,
mm,
or buy the weapon sprue if you're going to magnetize, and you're then not punishing the person who's buying the one they want and is happy,
mm,
and you're, although it's not perfect for the person who wants to magnetize, you're saying, cool, you want to magnetize, well, you only have to spend this much to have all the options.
mm,
Becomes a palatable purchase. So you lose that ill feeling a little bit.
mm, mm.
I think it's a happy medium to have, and going forwards, you can pretty much guess that they're doing it with the Terminators.
Yes, and that well, we don't. Yes, they're
uh,
doing it with the 2 kits. I wonder if they'll release
yes.
a weapon sprue
Well, yeah,
separately.
no, the weapon sprue is slightly different, but
Mm,
like particularly with the kits where you've got multiple weapons, it's much easier to do the swaps.
Yeah.
And it's keeping that initial price down. So I
Yeah, there is
don't
that.
necessarily have a problem with it. In an ideal world, I'll get everything for the same price, but
I've seen a
that's not
bit
going to happen,
more
is it?
grumbling about the Terminators in particular, and the only
I
problem is
understand
there
that.
because, and that well, the slight problem with that compared to previously with Dreadnoughts, you're going from something that where the weapons were separate blister packs, and that got quite expensive with a resin and things of
Sure.
that nature quite quickly. To have that, you were arguably it's a better value proposition. That sounds tedious, but you get where I'm coming from. The
Yeah.
Terminators are slightly trickier because the previous iteration of say counterfracting Terminators had so many options on the plastic frame. You know, buy or say put a squad of 10, you could have all 10 with lightning claws, all 10 with fists and combi weapons, all 3 heavy weapons in there. Then you've gone to less models, a 6 model kit rather than a
Yeah,
10
that's
model
true.
kit with less weapons. Uh, sort of. Is it less? Yeah, it's just slightly
Sort
different.
of, because they have got other weapons on the kits, haven't they?
Yeah.
But you were always still like you had no choice. Where did you get thunder hammers from? There was no way of
Yeah.
having them.
Yeah.
So again, it's not a perfect solution, but maybe it works. Um, but hey, who knows? And then we also had Legions Imperialis stuff in August. We had the Liber Strategia. So a real kind of not a second edition, but a rejigging
Mm.
of values, points, a few rules, a few unit rules here and there, which was a surprise, but a welcome surprise.
It was a big one. I do remember it was a
Yeah,
surprise. It came out of nowhere, but I mean, the expectations were pretty high.
yeah,
Liber Strategia. People were thinking, oh, this is Legion's almost 2.0 or 1.5 or something.
yeah,
Not as significant as that, but as in terms of a consolidation, which that game pretty badly needed, I was pleasantly surprised of what that did.
yeah. Because maybe the way Legions does the cards, it's harder to just do an errata to change all that.
Mm.
Maybe the book adds a lot more because you're going in and changing like detachment cards that are on there rather than just I don't know, maybe it's not that different for 40k.
Mm.
But in 40k they tend to try not to change like the unit too much. They
Yeah.
tend to stick to points and small changes. But yeah, I don't know. But I suppose the quantity of changes they made as well means
Yeah.
let's just put it out in a new book, which is good. And then on top of that, well, we got the formation and data sheet cards that were a change. We got the tokens and objective markers, which was a nice touch.
Yeah, it is actually.
And then we finally got some of the super heavies that,
Mm.
and the vindicators and the whirlwinds. So we started to get a much more, an even more rounded game now.
Yeah.
Suddenly, sitting in a building becomes sometimes a negative
Yes.
rather than only being
Than
a
a game
positive
winning.
going
Yeah.
forwards.
But
So
yeah,
yeah,
Typhons still are potent, and people were waiting for the Mastodon. The
yes.
big thing, the Mastodon.
Absolutely. So that was cool. That was good. Legions the previous year had got a lot of stuff.
Mm.
A little bit more lean this year, and it was fairly early on.
Mm.
So good to see that. And so following up from that, basically because it was fairly late July, mid late July that we got the box set. We got this follow up with these bits, and then in September we got our first PDF as promised, on time.
Indeed.
Demons of the Ruinstorm. Lackluster, personally, for my army.
Compared to yeah, exactly. For people who had gone
Certainly,
big and
uh,
loved what demons were, it was a different take on
yes,
things.
it's a different beast. I wonder if this changes if and when they get a book. Because we had the PDFs for custodians, didn't we, earlier?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we did. I think
yes,
that
we
was
did
it. Was
on
must have been
on
August.
release. Yeah,
I might have been a little
was it
bit later than
release?
release, but it was
Yeah,
close.
it wasn't when the pre-order happened. It was just after
Oh, okay.
they
Right.
came out. That's right.
closer
It
than I
was,
remember.
yeah, I think they'd come out and it was like, oh, where are they? And then like it came shortly after that, so near release. Um, and they were a little bit like, ooh, and the sisters got, shoved into their own thing with about 3 units. So not brilliant. The demons was better, but than that. But we knew we were going to get a Custodes books. We knew the Custodes list was a get you buy thing. I think the PDF for demons is similar. Whether we get a book or not is a different matter. But it feels like it's going to be revisited at some point.
Yeah.
I would hope so. And then on top of that, we got the Fellblade, Mark II Assault Squad, the Forges of Saturn Journal Tactical, which was really good read for sure, and came with new rules. It's all good. And then the Combat Forces, the Astartes Mechanicum Auxilia,
Combat forces were quite a surprise, and I think they were a good thing to have out
and
there for
again,
people to start the
timely.
game. Yeah, yeah, timely. Yeah,
Like
good point. Actually, now you look at
you
that.
know, previously this would have been 4 months down. Look when we got the Reaver for Adeptus Titanicus.
Oh God, yeah,
It was what 3 months after the release,
yeah,
3 or 4 months
a long
after the
old
release.
runaway. Yeah, yeah.
Whereas these have come out like, okay, this game's interesting. I've bought the box. Now I've decided I want to play some Mechanicum. Actually, cool. Well, here's a combat force to get you in.
Or even, I've heard a lot of people talking about this, and people buying these
Yeah,
big boxes. That's a bit
my
much for me.
yes,
And actually, that's not a force. I don't know what a Saturnine is, or I'm not
yes,
interested in a Saturnine. But these look cool. These look like the stereotypical
yeah. My friend's got this
representation.
box,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and now
I'd
I
like to
want to
be a
play
part of this.
Heresy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I thought they
all
were
those different ways in,
very clever, very well packaged
and
entry point.
a highlight of the level of support that the game
Yeah.
is getting, which means it's selling. So all that folds in into itself, which is great to see. And then we got the Legion's Inducti PDF as well. So your mileage may vary on those, but again, following up with those PDF rules, which is really good to see.
But it was quite sizable, and
It was sizable,
it
yeah.
didn't feel phoned in.
No,
It was a PDF. It came out in a timely manner, and effort had gone into it. And most, everyone's gonna have their own opinion on it,
well,
but
yeah,
there's some effort had gone into it, and it was quite there was stuff to it.
which is interesting.
I'm on board.
Yeah, because in October we got the Shadow Legions PDF as well as the Black Shields PDF,
Yeah.
and um, certainly a lot of work. Reworked the Shattered Legions and the Black Shields. Some interesting rules interactions that certainly Lex took advantage of to show what could be done
Yes.
at an event in. So he played an event at GW to highlight it, and he scored by himself more victory points than the other faction, as in the traders, I think,
I
or
didn't know
or
that.
almost as many. Yeah.
Amazing.
So and made staff members aware, like this is
This is a
what
thing.
this
Yeah.
interaction can do. So hopefully we're going to get a review on that. And it's literally, the easiest simple is like you can't take X and Y together. Like if you take X, you can't choose Y as your shared rules. So we're not even going to go into details on that because there's Lex is a character, but he says he took it to highlight that situation, which sometimes you need to do. Sometimes you need to go like, this book's broken. Someone goes, no, it's
Yeah.
fine if you did it.
I could
Like, no.
entirely I could entirely see Lex also making his
Oh yeah,
opponents
tongue in
aware that
cheek.
what he was doing
He got,
makes it enjoyable, etc.
he
I
did.
yeah.
He got 3 like best game votes, I
Well, there
think.
you go.
Like
I mean, that's a
in
sort of
that as well.
yeah,
It's very rarely the game, right? It's the player.
yeah,
Um, so and sometimes you just like, cool. My challenge is to. I'm not going to win, but my challenge is to do X. That's fine. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there
yes.
on the heresy. But we did get the FAQs and the errata, which it's few changes. Talons, militia, salamanders, inductite. very light touch, should we say?
Yes, it was. Yes.
For those. So yeah, but cool. At least it came, and hopefully it will be expanded upon.
Yes,
And then
and
we,
it was a bit. I remember. I mean, during 25, we also got an FAQ and errata for Legions Imperialis, and that was incredibly well received.
yeah,
Unlike a lot of FAQs and erratas from Games Workshop, people are normally like, "Well, who's asking these questions?" This is an incredibly lightweight thing. Quite the opposite with the Legions Imperialis one that came, and while it didn't get praised to that degree, the Age of Darkness FAQs and things similar, it wasn't hammered. I seem to remember it wasn't like, "Oh, this is crap, it's too light." I don't remember it receiving a negative reaction like that.
oh,
I thought it received a reasonable reaction.
it's good, good. And then on top of like our combat forces for Heresy, we got the Legions Imperialis, Astartes, Mechanicum, and Solar Auxilia. Again, much needed
Yeah,
for a game which is not necessarily easy to buy into.
and
So
they've been. Well, I'd go further than that with Legions. With Legions, they've been quite canny that they've had multiple different sort of army boxes, if you call
yeah,
them. They've
buying
had battle groups. They
routes
had,
needed.
they've had a few different versions of these
Well,
things that have come
we
out.
got them in December, didn't we? Like the Saturnine Battle Group came out to add
Yeah,
into that. Yeah.
and there's the combined arms groups and things, and you've got these,
Yes.
combined arms battle
Yeah.
groups. You've got the
Some of them are
combat
very,
forces.
yeah, because the Astartes one, like it bulked out the box, didn't it? One
It
of
did.
them.
They
Yes,
segue
that's
quite well
right.
together. So
Yeah.
you could get a combat force to start off, or you could get the battle group, combined armed battle group, and then add the combat force. You didn't duplicate things. It wasn't overlap. They complemented each other quite well. Both of which, or I think it was the combat force, was almost a rejig, a light version of a battle group that was a limited release 12 months before. They've done that quite well, and they've sustained that with Legions, and I thought that bodes well for the health of that game.
Indeed. Indeed. And then we got Drop Zone Massacre come out, which came out of nowhere really.
Yeah,
Which again was cool. But weirdly, November, actually the Imperium drops. Like interesting that they would drop so close together.
yeah,
Because there is massive overlap between the two, obviously. But like in terms of the era, but good to see. But we had a quiet November apart from that, which is fine. It
yes,
happens. It happens. But we got a new journal, Strategia, in December, The Ruin of the Salamanders. I say we'll be going through some of that next episode probably. But we got a Saturnine battle group for Legions Imperialis, the Heavy Assault Cadre, the Arachno Weapons Platforms, Falchions, Fellblades, and then the Combined Arms battle groups. So it was a strong finish. It feels well, the second half of the year for Legions.
yeah,
Like, a little bit early on, but the second half. But the heresy stuff, when you look at like what we've had, it's been pretty steady.
it
Like
has.
we had 2 months without much. Sorry, May we didn't have a lot. May and April, there was a little bit of a gap in the
Which
like
is
that.
sort of to be expected, isn't it? I
It's
mean,
normal
I
for
would say that's normal. I mean,
release
the real outlier there is June,
June.
getting four
Yes,
kits just before a brand new edition
I wonder if
launches
they were
is
supposed to
pretty
come out
unusual.
earlier.
Yeah,
It feels like they missed their place and they were
yeah,
given a
yeah.
place.
I wouldn't have been
Um,
surprised to see they were supposed to be in April, but they moved things around or
yeah,
whatever they decided to do.
yeah, something got delayed, what have you.
Yeah,
But then from July onwards, like a decent okay, the releases July, August, September, strong releases. The last 3 months quieter, but bearing in mind that the pre-order for the new Terminators and that went up in December for January,
mm.
and we had the PDFs to keep us going. Like you're only talking like it doesn't feel like it's been a huge amount of time in that break in Horus Heresy.
It is interesting when you compare this because we've had a new edition. But we
Yeah.
do have that new edition on the back of the previous years where we've had Solar and Mechanicum release.
Yes.
What we referred to earlier as the plastification of the heresy ranges. With Solar and that it was such a big thing. There were so many kits being released there. I mean, year before, all of those solar kits coming out, that made it feel really packed. And you're kind of getting that a bit with Mechanicum, where you've still got these kits coming out, and they've made these obviously these previews of things we haven't seen before, like Scutari,
Mm.
but things we have, like the Myrmidons and similar. You
We
think that's
still
going
know
to
there's
continue?
we still know there's units to come from the book as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a bunch of things still coming for them. But given that this is a year of an edition release, it actually went when compared with how packed we were, because the range was already quite expanded.
Mm.
Effectively, the range was already quite established by having these big releases before. So compared with perhaps other game systems, it actually, you had the splash of the big splash for 3 months of the new edition being released, but actually it got quiet relatively quickly after that. You sort of think, well, actually, where are we going to get that? There's still a
Mm.
lot to make into plastic, but it's going to be almost ranges like Custodes that could pick that pace up again, where you get suddenly, oh,
Big
actually,
time.
there's a bunch of kits coming for this.
Yeah, I try to think like kind of what needs to be plastified, um, plasticated,
Plastificated, yeah.
plastificated from the release. And there is stuff. Don't get me wrong. You can go through Arquitas and Sabers and some of the super heavies and the Mastodon, please, and Thunderhawk. You can
I'm
go through all
amazed.
that
I'm amazed the super heavy variants haven't come. I'm amazed we haven't seen a
yet.
glaive in particular. Yeah,
Yet
exactly.
it's
They're
not going to be long,
almost
right?
certainly going to come. I
They're
just
going to
thought they'd have
spread
come.
it out.
I'd have thought they'd have come before now. I'd have thought we'd have had a glaive, given that they were in the opening animation.
Year of the
I thought we'd have
Tanks.
had that. Yeah, quite.
Yeah,
I thought
exactly.
we'd have seen the glaive
The
this year.
Sakaran
The year just gone.
the other Sakaran variants,
Yeah.
potentially. Yeah, no, stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, um, we've still got plenty, but with no resin release since April,
Mm,
when we're going to see a plastic character? When is our
yeah.
plastic Primarch coming? It's going to be soon, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be soon.
There was
We're going to get.
something said on one of their, I mean, take this with a pinch of salt, but there was something said on one of their Facebook channels where someone said, "Oh, I thought it would be this. I thought it would be a
Mm,
Primark or something like that." And someone said, "Yeah, that would be cool." It was one of
yeah,
those phrases where I was like, "Yeah, let's see what 2026 brings." It suggested that something, no idea which game system it could be. It could be Perturabo coming in 40k.
yeah,
No idea.
absolutely.
But who knows?
But well,
Rumor is it's
Russ
happening.
Russ is coming. They've been saying that for 5 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, looking forward into 2026. So I think we're going to get a plastic Primarch. I think it's coming. Got to be soon. Like Angron's got to. Something's got to be said about Angron at some point. Whether it's Angron we get, I don't know.
Do you
But we
think
haven't
they would
had any
ditch?
lead.
Do you think they'll ditch Angron?
Yeah, they're not making resin anymore.
That's it then. So that model just doesn't happen.
I mean, no, don't know. That's not quite true. They're not making new resin kits anymore.
No.
They are maintaining some of the resin kits they have, but they're not making new resin kits anymore. Like
But
I can't remember
they
the
made a resin kit of Angron.
they didn't
Didn't
produce a
release
resin
it.
kit of it.
Yeah,
They
no,
didn't release it. Did
no.
they produce it or did they just show off a master?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and to be honest, if you've made I don't know 100 resin agrons and they decide to dump it, like that, the resin part of that is not the expensive bit.
Mm.
So but I could imagine it was a bit of a pain as a resin kit as well.
Oh yeah.
So whether it's Angron, whether it's someone else, I've heard rumours about other stuff, but at some point, maybe this year, we start to get Legion specific stuff. We've not had that's the thing that with the plastification has been pushed to the side.
Yes, I could
We
see that
we
being a
need
thing.
bikes as well. We need cool new bikes,
Yes,
not
that would
jet
be
bike
cool. That would be
bikes.
cool. The
Bikes would be
Outriders
super cool. Yeah,
would be very good. I think, and seeing those in plastic and what people could then do with those.
yeah.
I saw a really cool Akira
Yeah.
themed model of a bike today, and I thought, yeah, that would be quite cool, and would look cooler in the Heresy era Outrider bike rather than the
Yeah.
40k era chunkier bike. Didn't work quite so well.
No.
But I agree completely with yeah, just seeing the Legion specific things. There's suggestions that Justerin and or Lernian, Alpha Legion Lernian Terminators, because they got their rules in the levers were slightly more evolved than
Right.
comparative Legion ones. They have more options that were more
Sure.
aligned with what it was clear was coming as Cataphracti, the new Cataphracti kits. We hinted
Yeah.
at. So there's a if they were to come, I wouldn't be at all surprised. I mean, it makes sense that it would be Sons of Horus perhaps first with the with Justerin.
Yeah.
I could see that being a thing. And now that kit's out as a base, a single sprue upgrade, that would set the tone then, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what happens, particularly for the legions where the Space Wolves, who are a little bit more individual compared to the other legions. Like, Iron Warriors, as I say, tend to be easier. Fists
Yeah.
tend to be, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're dull or anything like that. They do have things that make them stand out, but the silhouette doesn't change a huge
No,
amount. Like
trying to
new
do
helmets
trying to
and
do Palatine blades, for example, is
yeah,
quite a challenge as an
different.
upgrade kit. Doing Tyrant Siege Terminators, pretty straightforward
Yeah.
in terms of
So
a kit.
yeah,
Yeah,
or could be. They don't have to do it that
yeah,
way,
true,
but
true,
it,
true.
it has the option of being fairly straightforward.
Traditionally has been straightforward.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that will be really interesting. You've got to remember we're getting 40k release this year.
yes,
So last time we had a 40k release, the stock levels went to hell for a year.
yes,
So
yes.
they have expanded their production. There's still certain things they're still having big stock issues with. Generally, I believe it's got a lot better. That doesn't mean like everything's good, but first part of this year, it'll be interesting to see how many complaints I see about stuff not being in stock, or whether we've just got to a point where people are like, "Oh yeah, cool, it's not in stock, wonderful." It's fair enough that older stuff is more moaned about, but um, if they're going to produce as many 40k boxes as they probably need to, it's going to be a pretty high demand on their time, and that affects Heresy more now because more
Yeah,
stuff's plastic. So, but who knows? I'm really looking forward to a good two, hopefully three Tacticas, like
because
certainly
those
two.
so far have proven to be each one of those has proven to be good. There hasn't been a dud, something
No,
or a filler. They've all felt really useful
and
and
bearing
really
in
good.
mind the tight, as we said before, the tight focus of each of those. Like we haven't got Office Fan,
Yeah.
um, but they've all added value. And in fact, we'll talk about it when we talk about the book. But bearing in mind, we've just had a Legions Imperialis one,
Mm.
covering very similar stuff to the previous 30k one. Um, they've got to write them for people who only play one of each game.
Mm.
But as someone who plays both, or certainly reads both, then I'm still finding it interesting and new takes and works together. So that is good. I'm excited for 2026.
Yeah, I agree.
I will say I'm not the game. I haven't played much. It's still not like, oh yeah, my first game. Like someone wants to play at the club, no, I'll hold off and play Heresy. I'm not
Mm.
often like that at the moment, but maybe some more terrain at the club. Um, it hasn't resolved my issues around. I think the game happens too quickly and things like that. But as I said, maybe my attitude towards heresy is going to change this
Mm.
year. Continue to change this year. I've had someone from the club message me say they're going to be free quite a few Tuesdays. Let's game. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me put aside an hour, clear the kitchen table, and try and make a list. Like
Yeah.
Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I agree with you though. I think we're entering into a territory now where we could start to see some. We're moving a bit out of that territory where that's a kit, we know exactly what it looks like, and you've really done a good job bringing it into plastic, but we knew what it was. We might start to see new takes on things. There's still a bit of
Yeah,
that to go,
I
but I
mean,
think beginning
for
to enter
sure.
territory where we're going to have genuinely new things.
Like, who saw the Arachne quad accelerator
Yeah,
platform coming?
exactly. Yeah,
Like Saturn Terminators. Like, did I see it coming? Before the rumors? No. Makes sense. Particularly what we know of how Heresy particularly has been designed and the rules and the old school stuff being brought forwards. I mean, what have they recently just revealed? Like some real old school vibes with some of the articles they've had recently around certain things. But Saturnine, fair enough. The Arachne, right? That's cool. Obviously, they wanted something brand new. So between those two, some cool brand new stuff, but not a huge amount. But let's have that filtered in to what we're doing.
yeah.
Because a good year of this, and we're going to be, if they keep going the same kind of rate of filling in stuff, we are going to be down to, okay, we've got a couple of flyers in plastic. Now we need, we only need one more. We're kind of getting towards that territory. It's going to take a little while, don't get me wrong.
Mm.
But, we've got more Terminators to come. Maybe we see some Tartaros hot on the heels of the Cats Factory.
Mm.
That'd be good. That'd be really good. But
Yeah,
hey,
I agree.
who knows? Anyway, we should
We'll find
probably
out
leave it
shortly.
there.
Yeah, we'll find out
Indeed.
what the first of those things will be, hopefully.
Yep, and we'll try and come back a little bit more on time next
Yeah, we'll
episode.
get back on the schedule, but it was a weird period.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, exciting. What was your favourite release from the year
It's
outside of the rule
tempting
box?
to say, Liber Strategia,
Yeah,
because I think that was significant. The combat forces I think are important, and so I'm pleased to have seen those. The combat forces for both Heresy and Legions, I think, are both important, but they're not the most exciting per se.
no, sure.
I did like the super heavies also for Legion. It's interesting they're all Legion releases that I was excited about. But
Well, we've already
yeah,
said a lot of the heresy stuff is stuff we know being made in plastic, right?
yeah,
Um, so that's fair.
Breaches, but that's probably cheating
Yes.
because they aren't released until 2026. So
Well, this is
cheating.
it, right? I think mine potentially could be Cataphracti, and I know they divide a little bit of opinion.
Yeah.
But the old Cataphracti are far too small. Maybe I'll sell mine and jump on those. I think the Journal Tactica Forges of Saturn because
Yeah. What that
it
represented. Yeah.
what it represents. Bearing in mind we've had the other journal journal strategias alongside it, so combined those two to see what they've done with a book that's engaging to read, is not stepping on the toes of each other,
Mm.
and is moving things forward. I
Mm.
think is a really cool, good way of doing it, and does it better than some of the other systems potentially as well, which is good. Awesome. Right,
Cool.
let's leave that there.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, man.
Speak to you
Take it
soon,
easy.
dude. Good night.
Bye. Well, thank you for making it to the end of another episode of The Imperial Truth. Just editing the podcast and trying to work out when to drop in my corrections because, well, not necessarily a correction, an admittance of being very wrong, shall we say. Angron is resin. Looks like there was a delay for some reason, and it is what it is. 11 months later, or 11 and a half. Well, yeah, 11 and a half months later, here he comes. So hold my hands up on that one. Don't get everything right. Probably don't get as much right as as I get wrong. But there we go. What can you do? It is what it is. If you have enjoyed the show, if you think I'm way out, I got loads of things wrong, if you have topics you want us to talk about, if you have questions you want to ask, then please feel free to email greg@theimperialtruth.com. You can also comment on the show on Facebook. You can get us on Instagram @childofang. Sorry, I forgot I was doing that. You can get us on, well, you can get us on X Twitter for now, at least. Let's see if I still have access to that in a few months. At Imperial_Truth and at Child of Fang for my personal one. Nice to see a few new followers from the article that Games Workshop Bar where Howard painted his Catan. Obviously, that was the model we were talking about. I was hoping to get the show out way before it's come out, so at the time we were hoping to get it out, we couldn't have talked about it, but we will talk to Howard about that model at the start of the next show, which hopefully, as I say, won't be too long. You've run out of time to talk to me about John French, so I said it earlier in the show, and then we ran out of time, so my bad on that one, but we will be getting other authors on moving forwards, and I will try and let you know in advance when that happens, so you can get questions in. If you like the show, please feel free to tell other people about it, to like us on Facebook, on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Please feel free to rate us on whatever podcast app you're listening to. Please feel free to use our link if you are shopping in the UK and you want to purchase from Element Games. Then we have an affiliate link. It's in the show notes. It's in the link tree on the socials. And that just gives us a kickback, which helps keep the lights on for the show, pay the hosting fees, all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. I'm going to keep doing the show for a while, at least. No plans to stop yet. So Element and people using Element helps fund that as well. And we also have the Warhammer merch link as well, affiliate link. That should be in the show notes and is on the link tree. We have to double check all this at some point. If you really enjoy the show, or you just feel like we should keep going for any reason and you want to help more than all those, then God bless you. We do have a Patreon, and that is open from as little as 99 cents a month, I believe. It's completely a tip jar. We don't provide any extra content. We don't lock anything away behind a paywall. But again, it's another way for those who really want to support the show and feel they're playing their part in that. Then we are more than grateful if you support us there. As I say, next show we should have the chat with John French. We're going to talk about the new Journal Tactica. Please, again, if you've got questions about that, if you've got ideas about that, send them in. How do you guys feel the Journal Tacticas are going? We've talked about it a lot, but it'd be good to hear from the listener about that one as well. Beyond that, I think we're probably done. I know Howard's going to be down at Beachhead. I think he's playing Adeptus Titanicus. I couldn't really swing around for it. Got a lot going on. Making adjustments to the PCs cost a lot of money this month, and an implant has gone. I've had a tooth implant, and my crown's being put in soon. So I've got a huge chunk of money coming out on that, and that was before my car battery died. So events for me are on the back burner. And that's fine. That is what it is. That's part of being an adult, right? But hopefully we get a bit warmer weather and the car won't break again. Fingers crossed. So yeah, feel free to go and say hello to Howard on that one. Don't know when I'm next going to be at an event, unfortunately, of any kind, really. I might have some news for you about an event, maybe next episode. But we're working on something for that. Actually, two events. one a gaming event and one another event, which I'm trying to organise. So keep me honest on that one. If you haven't heard anything, feel free to ask me questions. Anyway, proper warbling, proper tired. I'm going to go and try and edit this and get it out tonight and then do the washing. So who knows? Wish me luck. Anyway, until next time, you have been listening to The Imperial Truth.